Most people misunderstand this situation, so pay close attention. You might assume that when you pull away, she moves on effortlessly, unfazed by your absence. But the truth is far more complex. The silence doesn't just pass over her, it unsettles her in ways you wouldn't expect. At first, she may appear strong, convincing herself that nothing has changed. But when she's alone, away from distractions, that illusion starts to fade. And here's the key insight. It's not just the silence that makes her think about you, it's what comes next that truly impacts her. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to navigate this situation the right way. How to make her feel your absence in a way she never expected. Section 1. She starts reaching out in subtle ways. At first, she convinces herself that she won't text you. She tells herself she's fine, fully in control of her emotions, and that staying silent is the best approach. But as time passes, that confidence begins to fade. She catches herself staring at her phone, hesitating over your name in her contact list, debating whether to reach out. Days or even weeks may pass as she holds firm, believing that keeping her distance gives her the upper hand. But silence has a way of creeping into the mind, making people second-guess their decisions. The longer she resists reaching out, the more restless she becomes, until eventually she gives in. However, she won't make it obvious. Instead of directly saying, "I miss you," or admitting regret, she'll find a way to test the waters. She might send a seemingly casual message like, "Hey, I just saw something that reminded me of you." On the surface, it appears harmless, but beneath it lies a deeper question. Do you still think about me? If she's hesitant to send a message outright, she might take a more subtle approach, liking an old post, reacting to something on your social media, or leaving a small comment that seems insignificant but is actually meant to gauge your response. She's emotionally testing you, trying to see if she still holds influence over you. But here's the catch. This is a test. If you respond too quickly or eagerly, she might suddenly pull away again, reassured that she still has a hold on you. However, if you remain indifferent, either ignoring her message or giving a brief, unemotional reply, that's when the dynamic shifts. She starts to feel uneasy, realizing that she no longer has the control she thought she did. And that's when she begins making more moves to pull you back in. Section 2. She becomes more active on social media. Have you ever noticed that when you stop reaching out, she suddenly starts posting more than usual? This isn't a coincidence, it's intentional. When someone misses you but doesn't want to admit it, they often turn to indirect ways of getting your attention. And in today's world, social media is the perfect tool for that. Instead of messaging you directly, she tries to make sure you see her. Suddenly, her social media becomes more active than ever. She starts posting more selfies, carefully selecting the ones where she looks her best, almost as if she's glowing without you. She might use vague but meaningful captions like, "Everything happens for a reason," or "Lessons learned," statements that hint at her emotions without explicitly revealing them. She may even post song lyrics about heartbreak, longing, or missing someone, words that seem to reflect exactly what she's going through. If she's feeling particularly bold, she might even share a throwback photo from when you were together, knowing it will catch your eye. And if she really wants to provoke a reaction, she might take it a step further. You'll start seeing pictures of her out with friends, maybe even with other guys. But don't be misled, this doesn't necessarily mean she's moved on. More often than not, it's a calculated move to spark jealousy. By making it seem like she's thriving without you, she's planting a seed of doubt in your mind. She wants you to wonder, has she really moved on? Is she already seeing someone else? And the more you refuse to react, the more it unsettles her. Ultimately, these behaviors reveal that she's not as unaffected as she wants to appear. The key is understanding these signals and knowing how to respond in a way that keeps you in control of the situation. When she doesn't get the response she wants, it changes everything. Here's where things take an interesting turn. If her attempts to get your attention don't work the way she expected, it starts to get to her. In her mind, she thought pressing these emotional buttons would bring you back. So why haven't you responded? The silence unsettles her. She begins to wonder if she's losing her influence over you, and that thought alone is enough to push her toward the next step. Section 3. She starts asking about you through mutual friends. When she misses you but can't bring herself to reach out directly, she'll look for other ways to get the information she wants. This is where mutual friends come into play. Instead of messaging you outright, she'll subtly work her way into conversations, carefully wording her questions so they don't seem too obvious. She might casually ask a friend, "Hey, have you seen him lately?" or "How's he been doing?" On the surface, it sounds like simple curiosity, but there's a deeper motive behind it. What she truly wants to know is whether you're struggling without her or if you've already moved on. The worst possible answer for her? Hearing that you're doing just fine. If your friends tell her that you've been focused on yourself, thriving, or even meeting new people, it stings more than she'd like to admit. She expected you to be missing her, watching her social media, or making some effort to reconnect. Instead, you've remained distant and completely unbothered, and that realization drives her crazy. In her mind, if you genuinely cared, you wouldn't be able to detach so easily. And now, doubts begin creeping in. Was I not as important to him as I thought? Has he already replaced me? Did I make a mistake by letting him go? The moment these thoughts take hold, the dynamic shifts entirely. She's no longer the one in control, you are. And now, for the first time, she's forced to confront a reality she never prepared for, the possibility of losing you for good. Section 5. She starts dropping hints that she regrets losing you. When someone starts to feel the weight of your absence, they rarely come right out and say it. Instead, they leave behind subtle clues, small gestures designed to make you wonder if they regret how things ended. One of the first ways she might do this is through social media. She could post something reflective, maybe a quote about learning from past mistakes or personal growth, hoping you'll pick up on the hidden meaning. It's not directed at you, but it's meant for you to see. She might also send a message reminiscing about a shared moment, something seemingly small but emotionally significant. A text like, "I just heard that song we used to love," or "Remember that time we got caught in the rain?" may seem casual, but in reality, she's testing the waters, trying to see how you'll respond. If her emotions run deeper, she might take a more direct approach by acknowledging past mistakes. She could say something like, "I know I could have handled things better," or "I didn't appreciate you as much as I should have." While these aren't full-blown apologies, they are clear signs that she has been reflecting on what went wrong. But the biggest indicator of regret, a genuine apology. Even if it's brief, even if she doesn't explicitly say, "I want you back," an apology is a major step. It means she recognizes her mistakes and understands that losing you was a consequence of her actions. However, what you do next is crucial. If you immediately comfort her and make it easy for her to return, she won't fully grasp the depth of what she lost. But if you remain distant and leave her in a space of uncertainty, it keeps her mind racing. Once a woman realizes she's lost someone truly valuable, that feeling doesn't just fade. And the longer she's left sitting with that regret, the more she struggles with the idea of never having you in her life again. Section 6. Her emotions start to get the best of her. At first, she seemed completely unfazed, acting as if losing you had no real impact. She carried on as if nothing had changed, convincing herself that moving on would be easy. But as time passes, the reality of your absence begins to set in, and suddenly, she doesn't know how to handle it. She may have told herself that cutting you off was the best decision, that she was strong enough to walk away without looking back. But emotions don't just disappear overnight. The stronger her connection to you was, the more overwhelming her feelings will become once she realizes she no longer has access to you. This is when her behavior starts to shift in unpredictable ways. One moment, she's posting pictures of herself out with friends, looking happy and carefree, trying to give the impression that she's thriving without you. But the next, her mood changes dramatically. You might hear from mutual friends that she's become more irritable, snapping at people over minor things. She may seem more on edge, arguing with family, or reacting strongly to situations that never used to bother her. But here's where it gets even more revealing. If you happen to run into her or have any indirect interaction, you might notice a drastic change in her demeanor. She could act cold, distant, or even outright hostile for no apparent reason. At first, this might make you think she has genuinely moved on, but in reality, her behavior tells a different story. If she were truly over you, she wouldn't feel the need to prove anything. She wouldn't go out of her way to act indifferent, post cryptic messages, or attempt to make you jealous. The fact that she's struggling to control her emotions, whether through sudden anger, defensiveness, or forced nonchalance, is a clear indication that she's still affected by you, even if she refuses to admit it. Section 7, she starts reappearing in places you used to go. This is where the balance of power shifts. While she struggles to manage her emotions, you remain calm, focused, and in control of your own life. And that contrast alone is enough to get inside her head. One of the clearest signs that she hasn't moved on is when she suddenly starts showing up at the places you used to visit together. You might think it's just a coincidence, but in reality, it's anything but. A woman who has truly let go of a past relationship won't actively seek out reminders of that person. She'll avoid places that trigger old memories. But when she starts missing you, her behavior changes. Now she's making a deliberate effort to be where she knows you'll be, even if those places never mattered to her before. If you used to visit a particular coffee shop, she might start going there regularly, hoping to cross paths with you. If you frequent a specific gym, she may suddenly decide to join. If mutual friends are hosting an event, she'll make sure she's there. It doesn't stop there. You might randomly see her at a grocery store she never used to shop at, or notice her walking in an area where she knows you take your morning run. If you do run into her, she'll likely act surprised, as if it's pure chance, but deep down, she planned it. Beyond just being in these familiar places, she'll also make sure she presents herself in a way that catches your attention. She may dress better than usual, carry herself with extra confidence, and appear as if she's thriving, all while secretly watching to see how you react. But here's the key: your response determines everything. If you rush to her, act excited, or show that you still care, she gets exactly what she wants: confirmation that she still has an emotional hold over you. But if you remain calm, collected, and unfazed, she'll start questioning everything. And that's when the real shift happens. The moment she realizes she no longer controls your emotions is the moment she truly starts feeling your absence.